Yeah, that's a nice shrub there. It's a happy shrub. Excellent. Oh yeah, that's a very happy looking candle. That's good. Nice torch. These flowers look great too. Wonderful. Oh, that's great. Nice mystical lime flower. Wait, what? Just chat. Happy bush. Alright, we're done. I got it all out. Alright, today everybody, we're going to work on auto crafting a little bit further. What we're going to use now, we're going to add a molecular assembler into our mix of things. This is where we're actually going to craft things like more patterns, put together drives, and so forth. So today's goal is actually going to be doing just that. We're going to make automate the making of drives to put in your ME system and vibrant capacitors. We don't have to make vibrant capacitors. I'm just using those for an example because it's going to involve us using an additional alloy smelter that's configured to be able to do just alloys. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and let's go and place another ME interface for our alloy smelter. Excellent. And we're going to actually put our alloy smelter there. Configure it for just alloys only. And then what this is going to be this is kind of the odd thing about this, is we really don't have to put import or export or anything like that because we're going to use this interface to import and export. So if I remember correctly, this should be configured to go ahead. Yep, there you go. Push and pull out the rear. You can take that any way you want. Excellent. So now we also have to power this thing up. Once again, I don't have the capacitor floor, which would be nice. But I don't have that. So let's get started with what we're doing here. So we've added the machine to do alloys. Let me go ahead and add our patterns for alloys. There you go. I think the rest is just building things. Okay, good. So I pre-made some of these, but you don't necessarily have to pre-make them. I mean, you would want to make them and then shove them, but I pre-made them in the interest of saving some time. So anyway, what I'm going to do, let's see if I can we're going to add our molecular structure now. So I'm going to shove that there, another interface, and we're going to shove this in here. Now, this actually powers through the ME interface, kind of like our inscribers do. So that's why I don't actually have to place any power cable. These have to be powered because these suck. Well, they don't suck. They're awesome, but because that's just how it is. And with the molecular assembler, I'm going to throw some acceleration cards to speed up processing of items. Now, to build all these, items, the molecular structure, we can go in the NEI. This is item number 430, and you see how to make them. It's kind of cool. Anyway, so with this, I'm going to go ahead and put our patterns in there. Okay, so you notice I am missing a pattern to the vibrant capacitor. We'll address that once we get that far. If anything, we'll add another interface. Actually, you know what? We're going to do that. Just add another interface here. So, ME interface. There we go. I'm grabbing this one because we already have power to our molecular structure. All we got to do is just add an additional interface. And there you go. Technically we have 2 interfaces sitting on that. And then we can add more for this box to assemble. So, good to go. Yes, and as you notice, I brought back the hideous the inscriber assembler from before. I kind of just reconfigured it so it looks a little bit nicer. So it's not completely hideous. Alright, anyway, so let's get started. Now, we have to craft, so in order to craft more patterns, we have to be able to make a pattern for patterns, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Clear that out. We're going to go ahead and hit the crafting pattern. Look up how to make a pattern, and boom. Once again, we don't want to use up all of our pure Soartex quartz, because these are a pain to make in a sense. And we could, if we can get away with using Soartex quartz crystal, why not? It's all part of the fun, right? So there you go. Boom. Made a pattern of a pattern. So where that's going to go is I'll just shove it in here. It has to go into an ME interface of some sort. But there you go. So now what'll happen is if I want to make another pattern, you see, next, tells me what I need, start, and then boom. Now it went really fast, but what it'll do is it'll assemble everything in here, in this particular place. Hence why I have the accelerator cards. The more acceleration you put, the faster it'll put that stuff in there. So, let's go shove this wood in here. Okay. So now we have a pattern to make more patterns, and the patterns will be built inside of our molecular assembler. And you'll see that as I expanded, I have another room over there of just these, because once again, if you're tying one up, then that means everything else is holding, and I don't have time for that. So, okay, good. These channels are being used properly. So now that we have just a simple understanding of how to make a pattern and how to, utilize the molecular assembler, we're going to go ahead and use our alloy smelter now as part of the process to make a vibrant capacitor. So, what do we need for a vibrant capacitor? So we're going to need, here we go, octet capacitors, electrical steel, vibrant crystal. So we have patterns for all those. So, well, let's go ahead and see what it'll do. Next. Well, look at that. See, now this is the nice thing, is it'll show you what you're missing. It'll show you, hey, you need basic capacitors. Well, as you notice, we don't have a recipe for basic capacitors at all. We also need glowstone, or more of it. We're missing blocks of glowstone, so I'll have to make a pattern for that. And we need pulverized coal and dust. Well, or one or the other. We need a pattern for that. So we'll assume that, let's see, because I have so much of it, we just have to assume right now that we've made, come on. There we go. Assume we have made a pattern for pulverized coal dust, and we're going to need coal for that too. Well, no, actually, let's just leave it the way it is for now. Let's see what we all need. So, it's our sag mill. So our sag mill will be able to, we don't have a pattern for this, but we would do is we create a pattern to say, kind of like the same way you to make the sand. Go ahead and take coal, turn it into dust, shove it into the interface back there. But what we need is a pattern to make this basic capacitor, because remember, we needed a pattern to make a basic capacitor. So let's clear this out. Here we go. Let's try this again. Get a little bit of lag on the server. Actually, you know what? Let's do the glowstone. Oh. So now we have a pattern to make glowstone blocks. And we'll just put that up in here. We'll make another pattern. It's a little bit of lag on this server today, I guess. Wowee. Alright. Come on. You can do it. Be a happy tree. Alright, there we go. So now we'll go ahead and make our pattern for our redstone, our basic capacitor here. Oh, so looks like we need a pattern for gold nuggets, but we need to make some. So you get 9 gold nuggets by 1 ingot of gold. Let's go ahead and set that up. Look at that. So because I manually added these, it detected, hey, you're trying to make a basic capacitor. Well, yes I am. You're as smart as they come. So we'll shove that in there. Excellent. So now, let's try to make our vibrant capacitor. Let's see what we get. Oh, we're still missing some glowstone, and we need ender pearl. And we need pulverized coal for one of our items. What item do we need pulverized coal from? Well, it's easy. Just go ahead and mouse over, and it'll tell you, hey, you need pulverized coal for one of these recipes. Oh. Coal dust? Well, I don't think we have that. So this needs coal dust. Let's pull that out and let's see why. So, put this up here. It should show you. Boom, there it is. That's how it's assembling it. Oh, I need to edit this. By golly, we just take that out and say, all right, there you go. And it's good to go. You would write the encode, and it's updated. Now, that's not exactly the piece, but I'm just showing you how to edit. So, let me go ahead and let's see if we can locate that piece that needs the coal dust like that, or that pulverized coal. Here we go. Let's see. So we get the vibrant alloy, get the emerald, the vibrant alloy nuggets. You need a double layer capacity, or capacitor, coal dust. So we have coal dust in there. Wonder why it'd be why is it missing pulverized coal? What recipe needs pulverized coal? Ah, look at that. That is the steel that requires that. So, let's go ahead and put that in there. Oh, well, I don't have pulverized coal, silly. We're going to go ahead and say use that instead. So now, it's going to use coal dust rather than pulverized coal. Alright. So now, the way we have it set is it was going to make the electrical steel with iron ingot and coal dust. Now, because it knows it needs the pearls, it knows it needs, I need pearls, so, and it needs the glowstone. So let's assume you have collected plenty of glowstone dust and you have plenty of ender pearl. So let's kind of shove that into our ME system here. Excellent. So, as you saw how I made those patterns, right? Just want you guys to refresh how I made the patterns. You know, with items of items, right? So, anyway, let's go ahead and see if we can make ourselves a vibrant capacitor with what I have. There you go. So it knows how to make the vibrant crystal based on a pattern. It knows how to make this based on a pattern. It knows I need to pull silicon out of the system. It knows how to make a base capacitor, an octacapacitor, double layer. It knows everything. So this is all the required items that I need to make one vibrant capacitor. Let's see, and I have enough space in my processing unit to do so. Let's get you started. We'll click on our little terminal. It shows us, hey, this is where we're at. It knows I gotta shove all these items into this alloy smelter because I used the interface to this alloy smelter to be able to make this happen. You didn't have to grind anything, there's just nothing in here in that process. And then eventually you'll see it assembling everything in here. It's like as if you had a crafting table. Now, that's gonna take a while. Yeah, to make these energetic alloys, it'll take a while, but it knows I need redstone, gold, and glowstone. It'll pull it out of your system for you and start making the vibrant, or to make the energetic alloys. And it knows it needs the energetic alloys to be able to make the vibrant alloys. So I'm not going to beat it to death, but it's aware because, like I said, of the recipes that was created. When you start making alloys or anything in a process, you have to remember that you need to use your processing part of your crafting terminal and not the crafting part. Because when you saw I had to craft the bank itself, you put it in this interface to here. Oh, there you go. Finally, we're getting some server lag here, I guess. So same thing with creating the quartz glass and so forth. It knows, hey, I need some quartz dust, which just gets sent to the pulverizer or the sag mill, so on and so forth. So, but like I said, every part of the process you have to have. Oh, there you go. You saw that it made a double layer capacitor. But as you saw, like every part of the process you have to make a pattern for and then understand, hey, is this a process that needs, you know, that involves the alloy smelter for furnacing, or does it involve the sag mill to grind something down? Does it involve making an alloy, or does it have to be assembled? Or, you know, is there a process involved with making a component of it? So while that's cooking, making that vibrant capacitor, we're going to go into assembling a drive. So I've already pre-made the storage housing. Now, a lot of these things I pre-made are just because it's to speed things up for you guys. I know you're not here to, you know, watch TV. I know you guys are in the middle of doing something. You want to kind of like, oh, how I figured it out. Well, let's take a look. So anyway, in order to make, we'll go with a 4K drive. Is we need a combination of making these printed processors or these printed circuits, and We need to make a 4K storage component, and we need the 1K storage component, all that stuff. And then if you remember correctly, storage components, we'll just use this for an example, need to be assembled. There's no cooking involved. So, prime example, to make my 1K pattern, come on. There we go. I know to use Certus Quartz and this logic processor, which right now it knows how to make a logic, or how to make this logic processor, because there's a pattern for it in this setup. Here we go. And those patterns are stored all up on the top here. So let's kind of give you a heads up on that. So, come on. We're experiencing some real server lag here. So anyway, so we'll go ahead and put that in there. Now to make the 4K is we need we need the 3 1Ks, and we're gonna need an additional calculation processor, the quartz glass, and the redstone. Once again, because our system's aware of how to make a calculation processor, we can go ahead with that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and all right, here we go. Now, one thing that could, that's why. That concerned me is it wasn't aware those items existed. And there's solo. So now you can see this, we're using 3 of 8 channels, 1, 2, and the interface is 3. And now, if I pull this, it should be aware now that it knows how to craft this particular piece. So that's great now. We have all the components we need. The thing is we need to somehow make a setup to make this drive automatically. So let's go ahead and have it set up to make the one drive. It knows it needs redstone. It knows it needs the quartz glass. It knows it knows how to make this. It knows it needs gold to make that, and all that good stuff. So let's just assume you guys are running your quarry, and you guys got all the redstone in the world. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, let's go ahead and make one storage housing. It knows how to make that. Ready, go. Okay, and that was because we made that into our, it's because we made that in our molecular assembler. So that was fairly quick. There's one component. All right. Now we know we need to make the 4K. We know how to make the quartz glass and all that good stuff. We know we need to make a 1K, and we know we need 3 of these 1Ks in order to make part of one of these. Redstone involved and all the other items. So let's get started on making one of those. As you can see, it's going really quick. So you see it's shoving the redstone in there. Should be automatically processing the silicon, and then it should be ready for the next circulation or calculation or whatever processor, wherever it's at in the process of making the drive. Okay, so it assembled one of these. Excellent. So now we'll go ahead and put our 4K in there with our storage housing. because we know how to make the housing, great. We know how to make this, great. That's going to combine and make one of these. Now, because I'm assembling this, I gotta make a pattern. Because I'm assembling it, or crafting this, we have to use a crafting pattern. So we'll go ahead and do up like that. So our ME interface, put it in there. So now, with our ME system, we can get started on making a drive. I want to make 2 for whatever reason. It tells me what I need. Hey, I'm missing quartz glass. Okay, well, assume we have a pattern for quartz glass. Like this. We'll say, well, let's just go ahead and make, I don't know, let's go ahead and make 10 of those. It knows what it needs to make here. To craft 12, I need sand, Certus quartz dust by pulverizing it, pulverizing Certus quartz, and I need glass. And the reason why it knows it needs the sand, because it needs to cook and make the glass. So what we'll do is we'll just use my ME system to make the Certus quartz glass just a little bit. It'll take some time. Till then, let's go see if our vibrant capacitor is finished. Well, look at that. That is done. Excellent. Well, I am excited. Oh, it's just charging up because of my solar helmet. So I'll tell you what. Let's put our vibrant capacitor right there, and we'll just go ahead and make ourselves a pretty sweet little interface to it. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. So now we've automated making the vibrant capacitor. I can get into every single little component to make a pattern for it, but I'm pretty sure you guys can figure that out. It's just a matter of just putting every part of the step together to be able to make this work. If anything, leave a comment. I'll respond, and if anything, I could try to make a little, list of what patterns you're going to need to make and what you'll need to assemble. But I'm pretty sure you guys are smart enough to make that all work out. So anyway, back to our quartz glass. Still making the quartz glass. Yeah, that'll be a while. Okay. So here's something that you're going to learn how to do rather quickly. Say you got something tied up. Right now I'm making 2 advanced solar panels. Well, it's tying up my system right now because I can't make my my Certus quartz glass. So you can just go ahead and hit cancel, and it'll just cancel that out. And you notice that now all of a sudden it's gonna be like, oh, look at that! I can now move on to the next thing. So if you have queued up more than one thing, it'll just move on to the next. Now I want to be able to make those panels again. So go back. You just click on them. You already made one advanced solar core already. Go back to say 2. And eventually it's going to show me. Here we go. Show me what it's all going to need and do. And look how many bytes it takes just to make those 2 panels. Whoa. That's not even all of it. I mean, that's just resuming where it last left off. Alright, and notice, by the way, it took all the components it needed if I had it already, and it reserved it. It's all stored, or whatever it may be. It's all stored. So, it's very exciting. Now, oh, that's right, we needed the Certus quartz glass. Or quartz glass. There we go. Shove that in there. Now, here's all the components we're going to need. And like I said, I got a pattern for this. So it knows how to make Certus Quartz glass. I have a pattern for this, pattern for this. I have patterns for all of these items. Excellent. Let's get started. As you can see, here we go. You can see how it's automatically making our pieces, and then if it might show up, you might see it. Actually assemble the drive. Actually, I'll take these out so you can see it. There we go. Hopefully it'll be slow, and it'll show slow enough to where it puts everything together. But for right now, it might take a while because it may take a while, or it may have just been like blip done. Yeah, it was blip done almost. So where are we waiting on here? Wait on making the silicon down here. Is it? Well, it's not producing anything, so which means we may have ran out of silicon. Nope, we got silicon here. Oh, that's right. To make the silicon, that is a separate process. I would need another processor for that. Okay. Let's do this. So we'll go ahead and do this. We'll just kind of restructure a little bit. So and then we'll go wow, the leg is real. Here, I'll just put the second setup right there. And we'll throw our smart cable there. Boom, online. All right. So that is one thing to remember, is it's a separate process. It will actually utilize a processor automatically to make the silicon that will needed to go in here. So that's just kind of give you a heads up. So we got our one drive already. Well, let's go ahead and next to that. And now you can say, oh, I want to use one of these CPUs. Notice I have two CPUs now rather than the one. So, come on. I usually just have it set automatically. My setup is a little different because it's got, you know, certain number of CPUs, certain one has more memory than the other, so on and so forth. Okay, so now, okay, you should see that it'll actually now create, it may create silicon, and I'll see if I can show it in time. Oh, see, there you go. Like I said, it takes a additional processor, so that's why you'll see that most people design more than one processor. And notice how I have the processors separated like this. If you combine them, it will show up as one unit. But if you separate them like this, it shows up as two units, two processing units. So I would erect another one and connect it up with a cable, and I'll say I have 3 CPUs. So I can do 3 things at once, rather. So now we have our drive made. There we go. There we go. And we'll shove them into our ME system here. So let's go ahead and let's see, do we have enough to make another 2? Nope, need redstone. Okay. It's okay. we'll work out of this. Look at that. Our quarry stumbled over a whole bunch of redstone. Okay. Two. And let's start. Boom. So, it knows, okay, I need to just start pounding away here. Notice why I have the accelerator cards in here. This would take forever if you didn't have those accelerator cards. You would want to stab yourself in the neck. Alright, we got a processor that's processing the silicon to put down here, and we have another processor processing shoving or assembling and shoving of the or making of these logic processors or these logic circuits. And look at that, it automatically knows, hey, I need a piece of silicon. There we go. So right now, let's kind of give you guys a little look at what's going on here. It knows, you can see it kind of going almost in real time, what's going on here. And we got one drive made. Let's see, that's working on CPU 0. What's on CPU 1? Oh, I need to make some silicon. Alright, good to go. You see it's scheduled to make a calculation processor, and it's scheduled to make one more logic processor. Right, it's currently crafting the one. Let's see if it'll show us assembling the drive here. I tried to, yep, there we go. Boom, look at that. That was too slow for me, so I put the accelerator cards in there. So now, we'll just grab the one drive that we have made. Put in here. And we should be almost done with our second drive. Boom, look at that, no more, goodbye. Alright, so then we take our second drive. Boom. Why did it not process this dense aluminum? Alright, we'll worry about that later. So, now we're all set. We have now automated the process of creating these vibrant capacitors and drives. It's the same ways to automate the process of crafting this, the crafting storage or co-processing. We know how to store items, especially items that are just, like I said, the quarry will throw in large quantities. And now we know, okay, how to process items through our ME system. We know now some of tricks and so forth, how to make inscribers. Probably our last thing that we probably want to start looking at is now how do we import things? And what I have done in the past is, let's do this. You take an ME interface. We'll just go ahead and I'll show you. This is like some bonus for you guys, because now you're gonna want to tie your. You're gonna want to now tie your system into your ME system. You want to tie, coring all that stuff into the system. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys how to do that real quick, and you could basically make a pattern to make the ME interface. So now, take your ME interface. You're going to want to butt it up to your tesseract, assuming that you're importing from a tesseract. If you're not importing from a tesseract or getting items from a tesseract, then you'll need to butt your interface up to the input, or the output of a quarry or whatever it may be. So right now I have it set to to receive only energy. Item mode is blocked. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my ME interface. It's gonna connect up, and now you see our interface is should be active. Good deal. So now I'm gonna tell that Tesseract to say, all right, start receiving items. And what it's gonna do, okay, good. So you see now it's now receiving items from our Cori, and it's putting it into our ME system. All the stuff that we're mining. So you can see the copper ore. You can see some uranium coming in, sandstone, got some iron ore. So I'll tell you what, we'll tell this thing to process iron ore. So go to our export bus, iron ore. All right, good deal. But it's not doing anything with it. That's interesting. It's alive and well. Alright, for some reason this is not exporting like it's supposed to. And it could be as simple as we're out of channels, or it could be, you know, it could be anything at this point. Who knows why it's not working. Oh, now it is. It might be just server lag. And we're crashed. So that's the end of our episode today. So if you like this video, just go ahead and hit the like. If you guys found this helpful, that'd be great. Let me know. If there's anything else you want to see, if there's anything more you want to see, let me know. I'm open to comments, but if you just sit there and put profanity in the comments section, it doesn't do any good and nobody will listen. You're just a tree in a forest that nobody is around to hear. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully this has been beneficial to you. Thank you.